Japanese Tales. Kobo Dashi. Kobo Dashi, where Dashi means great teacher, is credited with many extraordinary accomplishments, including the invention of the Japanese phonetic script, and his temple on Mount Koyo is still an important pilgrimage center. Women have allowed there only since the late 19th century. A varya is a key ritual implement in esoteric Buddhism. The term means diamond or thunderbolt in Sanskrit. Long ago, Kobo Dashi braved the voyage to China to study the teaching and brought back the esoteric Buddhism, which he then spread far and wide. When he was getting old, he gathered his disciples together and distributed among them the many temples he had founded. But there was one temple, the greatest of all, which he had yet to found because he still did not know where to build it. This was the one on Mount Koya. Kobo Dashi had planned this temple even in China. The day before he left China, he stood on a cliff overlooking the sea and hurled a three-pronged varya toward Japan. As he did so, he prayed that the varya would land at the right place for a temple that would last till Moroku comes into the world. The varya soared high up and disappeared into the clouds. Now that his disciples were provided for, Kobo Dashi decided to go looking for the varya. He set out from the capital in the 6th moon of 816. Finally, in Uchi County of Yamato Province, he met a hunter, an immensely powerful, red-faced man, 8 feet tall, wearing a greenish coat and armed with a bow and arrows. The hunter had 2 black dogs, one big and one little. He asked Kobo Dashi where he was going, and Kobo Dashi explained about his varya. I prayed for it to land on a mountain good for meditation, he went on, and now I am looking for it. I am a hunter from Mount Koya, the hunter replied. I know where your varya is. Let me tell you the way. He loosed his dogs, and they quickly disappeared. Kobo Dashi followed the hunter's directions till he reached a large river on the border between Yamato and the province of Ki. There he met a mountain man, who told him that the place he wanted was a basin in the mountains some way to the south. The man went with Kobo Dashi. I am the Mountain King, he told Kobo Dashi as they walked along. All this land is my gift to you. They got to a place that was just like a bowl, with 8 peaks all around it. Huge cypresses towered there, as dense and straight as bamboos. One of the trees was forked, and in the fork was the varya. Kobo Dashi was overjoyed. He asked the god his name, and learned it was Nifu no Myojin. And the hunter, the god went on, is Koyo no Myojin. Then he vanished. Kobo Dashi went back to the capital, resigned all of his offices, and settled his affairs. Then he returned to Mount Koya, where he built the temple and named it, by imperial wish, Kongobuji, Temple of the Varya Peak. Finally, he prepared the place for his own passing. On the 21st day of the 3rd moon of 835, he sat in a cave in lotus posture and passed into internal meditation as his disciples around him chanted the name of the Buddha, Moroku. Long afterward, his disciples opened the cave, shaved his head, for his hair had continued to grow, and changed his clothes. But they never came back, and it was only much later that someone opened the cave again. This was Kanken, a student of one of Kobo Daiashi's disciples, and a high-ranking monk on the mountain. When Kanken opened the cave, he was met by a thick cloud of dust. When the dust cleared, he saw it had been from Kobo Daishi's robe, which had disintegrated and been swept up by the wind as he opened the cave. Kobadashi's hair was a foot long. Kanken, who had washed and put on a fresh robe beforehand, shaved the saint's head once more with a new razor. The cord of the saint's crystal rosary had rotted away, and the beads lay scattered before him. Kanken gathered them up, strung them on a new cord, and put the rosary back in Kobo Daishi's hand. Finally, he dressed the saint in a new robe. As he left the cave, he wept, overcome by a feeling of deep personal loss. No one has ever opened the cave again. But when a pilgrim comes there, the doors of the chapel built against it open of themselves, and the mountain is heard to rumble. Sometimes people hear the sound of a small gong. It is also remarkable that here, so deep in the mountain, that even bird song is rare, and no one ever feels afraid. The two gods, Nifu and Koya, have their shrines side by side below the mountain, and still protect it as they vowed to do so long ago. Countless pilgrims still visit Mount Koya. All men, women have never been allowed on the mountain.